The Witcher Season 4 will be the debut of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt of Rivia, and there's one thing he can do better than Henry Cavill. Among the most popular Netflix TV shows in recent years is The Witcher, based on the books by Andrzej Sapkowski. As popular as it is, The Witcher has also been a very divisive show. Fans of the books and video games have been quite vocal about their opinions on Netflix's take on The Witcher, from the casting choices, to changes made to the story, to the settings and more. The biggest complaint about The Witcher is how much it has deviated from its source material, though Season 3 did its best to fix this. Now, The Witcher is about to face its biggest challenge to date, as Season 4 will be the first one without Henry Cavill as Geralt. Liam Hemsworth is taking over the role, and though he's facing the skepticism of fans, there's one key thing he can do better than Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill was an almost perfect Geralt of Rivia. Although there were some complaints from fans of the books and video games when Henry Cavill was announced as Netflix's Geralt of Rivia, the truth is that he did a great job. Cavill has often expressed his love for the Witcher novels and video games, so he knew the character of Geralt quite well. Most of Cavill's mannerisms were fitting with the character as it is in the books, as well as traits like his dry humor, complex morality, and strong sense of humanity. However, and unfortunately, Cavill was also subjected to some limitations coming from the adaptation of the books as well as creative liberties. One of the most criticized elements of Cavill's performance as Geralt was his limited dialogue in the first season. Cavill relied on grunts and sighs to communicate, while, in the books, he's a lot more talkative. While this showed Cavill's range as he also relied on his facial expressions, this also limited the character's development. Surely, most of the flaws in Cavill's portrayal of Geralt didn't come from him and were a result of the creative path of the show, which, as mentioned before, has been endlessly criticized, but they ultimately tainted what could have been a great part of the legacies of The Witcher, Geralt, and Cavill. Liam Hemsworth's Geralt will be constantly compared to Cavill's. Despite his flaws, Henry Cavill was the Geralt of Rivia that Netflix's The Witcher needed, and as such, he was a great Geralt. As much as he was criticized by fans of the source material, Cavill ultimately got more praise than hate for his performance, which is why his departure caused a lot of conversation online. It didn't take long for Netflix to announce that Liam Hemsworth was going to take over the role of Geralt, and the reaction online wasn't exactly positive. There's a lot of bias around Hemsworth playing Geralt, whatever the source of that prejudice is, and since the first look at him in full costume, he has been compared to Cavill. The comparisons only grew after the first teaser trailer for The Witcher Season 4, where Hemsworth could finally show his training, voice, and bits of his chemistry with some of the characters. This is the biggest challenge Hemsworth is facing as Geralt, but there's one key thing he can do better than Cavill, and it's all about his chemistry with one character. There was one flaw with Henry Cavill's Geralt in The Witcher. Among the best things about Henry Cavill's Geralt was his chemistry with Joey Beattie's Jaskier and Freya Allan's Ciri, both important dynamics in the show and in the characters' stories, but another key one wasn't as good as it should have been, his chemistry with Anya Chalotra's Yennefer. A lot of things happen in The Witcher, and among all the battles, deaths, betrayals, and magic, there's the complex romance between Geralt and Yennefer. Season 1 quickly established that their relationship wasn't going to be easy, but it was a hard sell due to Cavill and Chalotra's lack of romantic chemistry. Although it's not like there was no chemistry at all or that it seemed like they hated each other every second they were together, they couldn't bring to life the connection the characters have in the books. Of course, it doesn't help that they spent most of seasons 1 to 3 apart, but even when together, the chemistry wasn't quite there. Geralt's chemistry with Yennefer is the key to make Hemsworth's version work. The chemistry between Henry Cavill's Geralt and Anya Chalotra's Yennefer was a flaw in Cavill's time in The Witcher, but it can be a big win in Hemsworth's era. At the time of writing, there hasn't been a good look at Hemsworth's Geralt and Yennefer together, and it's to be seen if they will be together at all in Season 4. However, the chemistry between Hemsworth and Chalotra will be key to making his version of Geralt work. Geralt and Yennefer are about to face the biggest challenges of their lives in the upcoming seasons of The Witcher, so getting that dynamic right will be crucial for Hemsworth's Geralt and the final seasons of the show.